Holy Spirit.
Go sis, go sis, go sis, go.
Hey family, welcome to Go Sis, the place where we have honest conversations about life and faith. I'm Kristen.
Hey, I'm Chantel. Welcome, guys.
Oh my goodness, it's so amazing to be here. And today we have an awesome show. We're talking about resilience and rock bottom moments.
Ooh, I'm excited. Listen, I am excited for this conversation. Can we we have cards. Guys, look.
It's always the little things with her. You are so silly. But resilience, we all need. Rock bottom moments we've all had.
Yes, that's
and so it's so awesome that we get to. You know what I realized recently, Shan? Vulnerability is annoying. Here's the thing, and I've been writing poems lately in my notes, and I wrote
poetry.
I know anyway. I wrote vulnerability is annoying unless you have someone there that after you're vulnerable, someone says, wow, you're so powerful. Wow, you're so strong. But like, if you don't have someone that says that and gives you that reaction, vulnerability is just annoying. It's like you throw yourself under the bus and you're just out there to dry.
Well, it feels like you're like running through the street with no clothes. You're like, wah! And then no one's like, it's okay, you're doing great. And it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to be out here exposed and by myself. Great.
Yes. So, but thankfully, there's tons of support on this show. So to talk about resilience and the rock bottom moments, we're going to get vulnerable and have plenty of support, which is awesome. And joining us for the conversation is such a special guest. I am fired up to introduce. She is a national champion.
Okay.
She was a national champion, won a championship at the University of South Carolina. You may know her as a standout from USC, a standout guard, maybe one of the most prolific scorers to ever come out of California high school basketball.
Period.
And to add high school Hall of Famer to the list, introducing Destiny Littleton.
Yay!
Hey, Destiny.
So much. Hey.
We're so excited to have you here. Destiny is amazing. So we met a ways
San
back.
Diego,
San
long
Diego,
time ago.
like
Yeah.
a long time ago. Where was that?
Pro-ams.
Oh,
You were my
at the
coach.
Pro-Ams. There's so many basketball
so many.
events, so many basketball events. But we met there and then reconnected with the Hoop Bus. She does an excellent job at our Hoop Bus University mentorship program. She's a fan favorite with the kids. So glad you're here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So Destiny, you were just inducted into the Bishop's High School Hall of Fame, and that was super recent. Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank
How
you.
did that feel?
Honestly, so it's been in the works for about a year now. And Al told me like, hey, you're going to be on this list. And I was like, honestly, I said about time. But the other side of me, it really has shown how athletics has changed because my school is really an academic school. And so to be recognized for the athletics was a big deal, honestly. I mean, I told them, I said, the school is so profound academically. I was like, but you guys have to realize that you can do both. Like you can be an astounding scholar and also an amazing athlete.
Can you have that pep talk with my son? Because
Absolutely.
it's so crazy. The Dodgers are doing great right now, and his teacher's like, for some reason, Kingston hasn't been focused, and I'm like, oh, the Dodgers. I'm like, you gotta focus on both, bud.
He's checking all the scores in class.
Right.
No, but congratulations.
Thank
That
you
is
so
so
much.
incredible. So, well, I can't wait to just for everyone to get to know your life and all you've been through. But we could like to kick things off with scripture on the show. And, you know, I thought of Joseph when it comes to the conversation about resilience in Genesis 50.
Love that.
And so I'll just kick us off in Genesis 50. So the story of Joseph, I'm going to paraphrase just a little bit. For those of you who want to study it out, in the book of Genesis, you can read the whole story of Joseph because from the beginning, Joseph is hardcore dreamer and he has a good reason to be because, you know, God promises him this future that has so much abundance in it. Yeah. However, on the route from A to Z, there's some pitfalls. There's some backstabbing. There's some betrayal from the people closest to him. His brothers low-key pass him off as dead, sell him into slavery.
I wish somebody... That's crazy.
That is.
There's a lot that happens. And along the way, you just imagine yourself in Joseph's shoes, like, how could I still be destined for greatness given all of this? How does God still have a plan for me given all he's allowing me to suffer? How can this ever make sense? And then the story culminates in this just incredible place in Genesis 50 when Joseph could take revenge on his brothers, but instead he reflects on all the bad things and he frames it in this way. He says in verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives."
I
So
love that.
able to see all the pitfalls as God intending it for his good. Like it blows me away. And isn't that now, like when we reflect on our lives, you can kind of see God's hand throughout all the crazy.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
that's so good. That's so good. I love that. And I think that it's literally the saving of many lives. Like when we're going through something, we never know what the end result is going to be. We're just trying to survive it.
Yeah.
You know, I know a couple episodes ago, I talked about showing our scars and the fact that like our scars give other people the evidence that they need to get through their own pain. But when we're going through it, we're just like, get me through this, trying to survive. But then God is focused on the saving of many souls, building us into who we need to be for the saving of many souls. And that's just so beautiful. I love that.
So that, but to get that, to have that mission accomplished, we've got to talk. And that's why our voices are so powerful. And so Destiny, again, we're so happy to have you on the show. And, you know, I was very moved by your graduation speech at USC.
I grew up poor, surrounded by drugs and gangs. I wanted a different life and education, peace. So I ran.
Man, that was a moment. And even reading the comments, like, wow, you're so inspiring. Wow, this is incredible. And you talk about growing up, how it wasn't easy. But where do you think your testimony begins?
Ooh, it's a loaded question. When I was a kid, I think I remember the good times before everything kind of just went downhill. And it was kind of like little signs when I reflect. It was little signs that things were going to take a steep downfall. And I eventually left home. My parents, both my biological parents, got on drugs and kind of reverted back to their old selves. And I was a smart kid. Honestly, I knew right from wrong. I just knew my ins and outs of just how to live and how to be an adult at such a young age. That I said, I'm not staying here. I was like, I'm not going to go through this. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I was like, I'm not staying here.
Wow.
And so I decided to really just like pack my bags up and leave. It wasn't that easy. It's not like, you know, it's not like a movie where you just, hey, here's my suitcase. I'm gone. Because at the end of the day, I still was a kid, right? And,
How old were you?
it was about sixth grade, end of sixth grade. So
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I don't even know how old I was.
11, 12?
Literally as old as my son.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I
And,
cannot imagine Kingston moving out.
Yeah. And I mean, and it started off slow. It was, hey, let me leave at 6 a.m., go to the Joan Kroc Center and spend all day until they closed, and then I'll go home. It started like that until I can find a place for me to go. And and so that was kind of how I basically uprooted my life and moved on. It was really hard. I started staying with a coach who now I call my dad. Throughout that time, it was very hard though. There was nothing easy about it. And I always just kind of look back at how angry I was. I was really angry. I had a lot of hate in my heart. And it showed on the basketball court. I mean, I would get technical fouls every game, and the refs, like the ones who know me and who refed me when I was younger, still know me today. And it's kind of cool to kind of see just a full circle moment of, you know, how much I've grown and, you know, how much that affected me when I was younger. Because in the moment, I kind of went cold. It was like all this stuff is happening around me. I got to figure out a way to, you know, maintain. And throughout it all, I was a straight A student. And so I was battling. I was kind of living two lives, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go home and all hell breaks loose. And then you got to go to school and act like nothing's wrong and put a smile on your face and get straight A's. And, so there was definitely a double life that I was leading.
Is that
at
when
a
you
very
started
young
playing
age.
basketball in middle school? And
Yeah.
then how did you find out you were good at basketball?
Honestly, basketball came natural. It came natural. I don't remember learning how to dribble or learning how to shoot. I actually played football before, but my parents were like, "Hey, if you get hurt twice, then you're done." So
No.
I got hurt twice. Like I knocked knees with someone. I'm like, that's not an injury, right?
Right.
So, so that was very short lived. I played football for a season, and then a basketball coach just saw me at the park one day and said, "Hey, I think you should come play basketball with us." Because I swear I've been this height my whole life. So at that age, I'm towering
tall.
over everyone, right? So
Yeah.
But so that's how I got into basketball.
Wow, I can remember like basketball. We also grew up in like not the same situation, but an abusive situation. And so, it's very relatable when you say leaving in the morning, not coming back until late, just finding every reason to stay gone. If we had to go in the house to get some food, we was going in the house, running in the kitchen, grabbing it and running right back out. Like the least amount of time I can possibly stay here. And then when you started playing sports, did that feel like a safe place for you? Did that feel like a release, a place where you could release all the anger?
Absolutely. But it took a long time. I mean, I was angry up until probably my sophomore year of college.
Wow. Yeah.
And obviously I matured in certain ways. I wasn't getting technical fouls when I got to high school. But yeah,
That makes one of us, because I still was getting.
I was
a lot
gonna
of
say.
I was like,
if I got a tech, it was just normal things, not angry things. But yeah, I mean, basketball, it was a place where I can forget about real life.
Yeah.
It's like you just go on the basketball court, you sweat, you tired, and then it's like, okay, now you step off the court, now it's reality, right? So I've always made sure that basketball was my getaway. I never brought anything I was going through onto the court besides being angry. But yeah, I really put in just a lot of time and effort just in the basketball world because it was one of those things that there's no judgment, right? Basketball can't judge you. You can just be yourself and it'll give everything back. So.
But I love that you say that. Was there ever a time that basketball stopped giving back to you though? Because the thing is, when something is your everything, and then when that thing doesn't pan out the way you wanted it to, or that thing doesn't end up loving you back the way it always had, I know for me, it's kind of like, okay, who am I then? You know? Like,
for sure.
So was this love affair with basketball, did you ever have any bumps?
Many. And
Okay.
let me just preface this. Basketball was a coping mechanism for me, right? And so people always ask me, it's like, how were you able to get through everything you went through? And I was like, basketball.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully. Because I wasn't one who wanted to talk to anyone. Honestly, no one knew what was going on in my life.
Yeah.
Even basketball, like even when I went to high school, I lived a double life. Wow. They didn't know. Nobody knew anything that was going on. They only knew, hey, Destiny the Hooper. Hey, Destiny, this is what she's doing to this day.
How did you hide that?
Practice. No, I think at a young age, I didn't want people to look at me any different.
Yeah.
I already came from a background that, we didn't have much. We were poor. We, didn't have much. And so when I started getting into this light and this scene and, oh my gosh, she's really good at basketball. Now I'm touching all these different stages. I just wanted them to see that. I didn't want them to see the struggles, the behind the doors, the pain, all the, everything that I'm going through. And I've always kind of been like that. I wear a mask. I smile through it all. You would never know anything that I'm going through. And so for me, it started when I was in college. My freshman year, it was really rough.
So you went to USC your freshman year.
I went to Texas.
Oh, okay.
My first 2 years of college.
Okay. Did you want to go to USC first? Is that what happened?
Yes,
And then
I did. And then the coach got fired.
Okay. And then you went to Texas.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So I spent 2 years at Texas. My first year being complete hell, if I'm honest. The people were great. You know, I had great teammates, but gained like 40 pounds. Like it was a lot. Keep a long story short, because the coaches knew my background, right? They wanted me to talk to someone. They wanted me to release everything. And I was trying to explain to them, like, that's not how I operate. You can't force me into doing something that I don't want to do. And I went and I sought sleeping medicine because I was a terrible sleeper. Well, the sleeping medicine that they gave me was actually an antidepressant, but an antidepressant you give anorexic people. And so I quickly gained weight.
Wow.
Quickly gained weight.
They didn't put those two together. Like,
they knew, but we're not gonna get into that. So it was gain weight my entire freshman year. And obviously it's like one of those things where when you're constantly looking at yourself and if your clothes are still fitting right, you don't really notice. You don't notice the changes. People around you aren't telling you things. And I gained weight. I think I was like 220 pounds at the end of it all.
wow.
And that was crazy. And so with that, I wasn't able to play. Hurt my knee my whole freshman year. I wasn't playing, had a red shirt. Then I bounced back. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get off this medicine. Bounced back, lost so much weight, was in great shape, played my sophomore year at Texas and started, did well. But I knew it wasn't a place where I wanted to be for 4 years. So I transferred to South Carolina, and still in this moment, it was like the in-between time from Texas to South Carolina, I was still losing weight. But at that point, I wasn't purposely trying to lose weight. It was just falling off. And I was in the best shape of my life. Like, people were just, whoa, you're strong. What's going on over there, you know? But it was a really big moment for me because weight has always been a kind of an Achilles heel for me. It's always kind of, well, if you lose a couple pounds, then you can get here. And so that's kind of, I battled that, you know, for a long time. And so when I finally dropped all the weight, I was like, oh, this is great. And I dropped so much weight and I was so strong that they were now saying, hey, you need to put on some weight. And I looked at them like, no, I don't. Me? I was like, no.
No, I sure
right?
don't.
So did that eventually. I mean, I had one of the best summers of my career thus far. And then I broke both my feet. And yeah, so honestly, at that time, it was kind of a why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why now? Why when I'm at like the peak of my playing career are you doing this to me? And it was
you being God.
Yeah.
Like you were asking
Yeah.
God all of those questions. Like, how
Yeah.
could you? Why are you doing this to me? Why
Yeah.
am I going through this?
Yeah, I mean, because I couldn't ask anybody else. you
Right.
know? So
Right.
yeah, so it was tough. It was I had dealt through pain that entire summer, but it wasn't until October is when I found out I broke both of my feet.
How does one
Stress
break
fractures.
both their feet?
Just stress
Oh,
fractures.
wow. Yeah, so repeated injury and it just
and
What was that like for you?
initially it was one of those things because shortly before I found out I broke both my feet, the NCAA declined my eligibility anyways. So I was gonna have to sit out a year anyways.
okay.
So I was already mentally prepared to not play basketball with the team, but I was not mentally prepared to just stop playing basketball at all.
And you
right?
were in a wheelchair, right?
I was in a wheelchair, had to learn how to read, had to learn how to walk, had to be vulnerable and have, you know, people help me bathe myself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I had a boyfriend at the time who would literally pick me up from my bed, sit me on the toilet, pick me up off the toilet, put me back in the bed. So it was like, it really changed my perspective of how, you know, people who are not able-bodied and what they go through. Because I have this mindset of if you're having a rough day, someone's having it worse. And I think sometimes that pushes me through the days where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I'm like, well, what about this person who can't walk up the stairs? Or, you know, so during that time, I really reflected on that and kind of put myself in someone else's shoes, right? I was in someone else's shoes for 2 months and it was temporary. I knew by the end of it, I was going to be able to stand up and walk. But it was during those 2 months where it was a lot of reflection of, wow, there's so many people in this world who will never have the opportunity to walk again. And so just really kind of reflecting on that. And in the beginning, it was fine. You know, no one really told me the impact that injuries can have on you mentally. And because I wasn't aware, it all kind of hit me at once.
What would you say your rock bottom moment was?
We were warming up. So this is now a year later into the next season. So I'm cleared and everything. But we were warming up for the SEC tournament championship game. I woke up that day, didn't want to get out of bed. And I was like, this is weird. Like, this is a championship game, right? You should be excited. You should be happy. We're about to go get this ring.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't want to get out of bed. So forced myself, obviously had no choice. Like, I'm not, you can't just tell your coach, hey, I'm just going to stay in bed today. No, that's not.
I'm calling out.
Right.
Hey, Dawn.
Yeah. Hey, coach, I'm not going to make it today.
I would say as an athlete, it doesn't matter how you feel, what you're going through. Like if you're crying on the floor and you got a game in 15 minutes, you got to suck it up and get your life together. Like
absolutely. You have no choice.
Right.
Yeah. So I showed up and we're warming up and I still have this mindset of like, I don't want to be here. I could care less about what's going on. And at this time, like, I really didn't understand why am I feeling this way? I love basketball. This is, my thing. And the assistant coach, Coach Fred, he literally walked up to me and said, is everything okay? I just started crying on the floor, bright lights, cameras going. And I just was like, oh no, he was like, come on, let's go get you situated. And it was in that moment that I knew that the injury had more impact on me than I thought. And it was a weird kind of realization because the D word, depression, is kind of like, it's like, you don't ever want to say that. It's like one of those things. It's like, oh no, that's not me. That can never be me, especially because of how much stuff that I've been through.
Yeah.
And never had any sort of issues, in the depression realm. But when basketball was taken away from me for a year, it was like for a whole year I had nothing to go to. I had nothing to, release all the things. And that was the time where COVID hit. So I was doing rehab. I have videos of me doing rehab in the garage, like in the driveway, just so I can, keep up with my rehab. So that way I'm not set back even more. So yeah, I had to go home in the middle of rehab. It was tough. It was tough.
Do you think that you going through everything as a child and as a young lady, and then, you going to basketball as a coping mechanism, and then that being taken away, the weight of that being taken away, do you think that compounded everything else? And
Absolutely.
Maybe you weren't really crying because of the injury. Maybe you were crying because of everything else you had never cried about.
Yeah.
It's like at some point, I feel like we have to break, and us, as athletes, we put off the breaking point so far because there's always something else to do. And I know as a TV person, you've done this as well. Yeah. We, type of women that we are, we're like, I don't got time to break.
Absolutely.
Well, I schedule my breakdowns.
No, literally, we talk about that all the time. We're like, I
whew.
have time for a breakdown next Friday, in 2 weeks from Friday.
At 12:30.
Right.
12:30 to 1:30-ish, maybe to.
That's going to be my moment.
I think I might be able to break down.
Yeah.
But then when you schedule it, sometimes your emotions take it, and you can't help it, and that sounds like you went through one of those moments.
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely felt like everything hit at once. And at that time, when I went to South Carolina, I did start talking to someone who since everything that happened in my childhood, I've had trust issues with women. And because I was so close with my mom, and then seeing that, just like her choose drugs over me, it was like, oh, well, that's it for all women. That's it. I don't want to, and so I made sure, like, I was like, hey, if I'm going to talk to someone, it's going to be a male. So that's all I asked. That's a male.
Safer.
And I mean, I started talking to him, and I actually reached out to him because it had been a year since I talked to him. And I just told him, I was like, hey, this is what's going on. I was like, I want to be in my room all day. I want to play video games all day. I don't want to talk to my friends. I don't want to do anything. And he was like, how long have you been going through this? He was like, I think you need some help. And so that night, he ordered me antidepressant prescription. And I was like, I'm not taking this. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to let you order it. I went back and forth with him for like 30 minutes. I was like, I don't need that. I was like, I don't need that. I don't know what I need. I need help. I did tell him, I said, I need help because it's been a whole year of me feeling like this, but I don't need medicine to help this. And he ordered it. And when the medicine came, actually that night, I like opened up to my best friend, my roommate. And I was like, hey, like, I think I'm depressed. She's like, no, you're not. I was like, it's like, actually, I think I am. I think I am. And she's like, no, you? No. And that's what everybody sees, right? It's like they see the fighter, they see the, the person who just is resilient and nothing ever affects them because that's what I show. That's what I allow you to see, right? I don't, allow you to see the breakdown moments, all the bad moments. It's like, I do that on purpose. And so when she said that, I was like, it's like I fooled all of you guys because for a whole year I fooled you all.
Sometimes I think the stage and the spotlight is the most clever space to hide.
Absolutely.
Because no one can find you there. Even though everyone can see you, they can't see you.
Yeah.
And so here, everyone's seeing your high performance and see you come back from the injury, but your heart and your mind is still suffering.
Yeah.
And so after that rock bottom moment, then you're a little while afterwards, you're looking at the medicine. Did you take it? Like
I took
what?
one.
Okay.
I took one. And so it was something, it was like a magic pill. That's how I think about it because I took it and the next day I woke up energized, completely different mindset, a mindset of like, acknowledge what you're going through and now be proactive about it and actually like try to fix it. Because before I wasn't acknowledging, any of the feelings that I was feeling. It was there. But now I was like, I'm aware now. I'm aware what I'm going through. Let's be active and let's try to work through it. Like the moments when, hey, I don't want to get out of bed, get out of bed. Do something, like just something, right? And so that was shortly after that, I took that pill on the way to the NCAA tournament bubble. That was when we had the bubble and the COVID bubble.
Yeah.
So I took that on the way there. And then I threw them away because I was like, I don't need this. But in that time, it's like the bubble was a crazy time. We had our entire rooms to ourselves. We couldn't really hang out with each other. So it was just like all these things feeding into a depressive state, right?
Literally.
It's like you're allowing me to just continue to be in this depressive state. But because I just, said to myself, hey, I'm aware of how I'm feeling and what I'm going through, we're going to actively get out of this funk. And I did that and it worked. But it definitely took me accepting like, hey, I need help for that to even happen. Because a lot of people, especially me, I never asked for help. Like I'm the type of person who I will give my last to someone. That's just who I am, right? I will give you my last dollar.
Yeah.
And then be left with nothing because I know that I'm a person who can figure it out.
Yeah.
So
how did you claw your way? I mean, what happened next?
I know.
You're in
Your
the bubble.
story,
You're like, how did you claw your way out of rock bottom?
it definitely took some time. I went back to writing. I used to write a lot. Actually, I really enjoy writing, but I found that I only write when things are going bad. And so all of my writing is like just a reflection of just everything going on in my life.
Yeah.
But I had stopped doing that because I was, I was having fun. I was in, it was like, life was still lifing back home. But I turned back to that. I turned back to writing. And it helped though. It helped having someone so close to you understand what you're going through because now it's like, now you don't have to hide anymore. Now it's like, hey, if you are feeling some type of way, my best friend was like, oh no, come on, like we going out to eat, or we're gonna go grab some ice cream, or we're gonna do, you know. So it was like the subtle things, and it definitely took some time. It wasn't an overnight thing. It was honestly one of those things where I didn't really do anything specific. It just kind of over time and being aware of my situation got me back to myself.
That makes sense. You talk about your, I think in your USC speech, because you went back to USC for your master's. You ended your collegiate basketball career back at USC where it almost started. Anyway,
But that was so beautiful that you got to like live that dream, you know?
Right. But you talked about in your speech how your acronym of fear has evolved throughout your life. Where did your fear acronym start, and how did you transition it to something different?
That's a good question.
Come on.
Because it started as forget everything and run, right?
Yeah.
That was your coping strategy. And then was there a point where it transitioned to face everything and rise? I believe you said in your speech.
Honestly,
Where was that turning point?
the forget everything and run, I did that my whole life, right? You asked before, it's like, how did you live a double life? And I mean, I just acted like it wasn't happening. Right? You wake up,
That's real.
you put a smile on, and it's like, hey, you know, you go about your business. And so that was me running from reality, right? It's like my home's all messed up. I don't have a home. I'm going from, you know, place to place, and I chose to run from it. I chose to run from it because it was too much. And then if we're going to talk about a moment of when that switched, I would say the realization of when I was depressed. Because that was the first time that I actually allowed myself to feel without putting a mask on.
And in front of somebody else,
Right.
your best friend as well, and the person you were talking to.
Yeah. And it wasn't cookie cutter. I didn't, you know, just face everything and rise from that point. I did run still from certain things, but for the most part, it was, hey, we're going to face this head on and we're going to move accordingly. And when I was writing that speech, it came naturally. And I was like, I kind of like this. I was like, yeah, like we're getting somewhere finally, you know, like we're finally getting somewhere. So yeah, I mean, I have that tatted on my shoulder. It's a really powerful thing for me. And it's kind of a reflection, right? You can kind of reflect of how you operated in the past, and then now it's like, wow, you know?
Yeah, you want to move forward differently. You know, be a student of your own, be a student of yourself and what not to do and how you, because you still have your life so much ahead. And, you know, thinking about faith and how, you know, God sees us the whole time at every point of our journey. How has your faith kind of evolved from those early days when you were crying out and got no immediate response to now?
So it's actually, when Chantel asked me to be on the podcast, it was like perfect timing because, you know, I've always been a believer in God, but I've never exercised it. I went to church when I was younger. And then when I uprooted my life, church was not a thing anymore. And it was just not a thing because there were so many other things that I'm like, no, I don't have time. That's the reality. I was like, I don't have time.
The capacity probably as well.
Right. Yeah. And so literally, I want to say within the last like 6 months, I've realized that God's presence is becoming like, it's deeper now. I'm noticing things. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I actually feel when, you know, I listen to sermons or when I listen to people sing gospel, it hits deeper. It's like a heartbeat just, you know, in my chest. And I really came to realizations when I was in a prison visit, like 2 visits ago. Like a man, he started singing gospel and it made tears fall out of my eyes.
Wow.
And
you're like, what is it? What are my eyes leaking?
And I'm just like, one, I don't cry in front of people. Hardly ever. I mean, sometimes yes, but I'm sitting there and I feel my eyes and I'm just like, I'm trying to like look everywhere but at the person singing the song. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it was instant. Like as soon as he started singing, he had the voice of God. Like his voice was just there.
Yeah.
And tears were coming. I was just like, is anybody seeing me? And I was like, dang, it's a little, I'm like, hold on, who's cutting onions in here? I was trying to make a joke out of it, right? But in the inside, I'm like, okay, something is real. Something real is going on right now. And I've never, faith is a difficult subject in the sense of I've had teammates around me who know the scriptures, who know it like the back of their hand, who, and I've never been that person. I've never understood how to read a Bible or really apply it, or I've always just been one that's understood like, hey, God is there, he's working, but it never really affected me personally up until like the last 6 months.
Wow.
Like the last 6 months, it has been like literally last week, I sat down, ate breakfast, watched the sermon, took notes. I was like,
who am I?
No, seriously. I was, wait, why? Like, it was like why did I want to wake up and do this today?
Wow.
You know? And so it's been little things that I'm seeing that I'm just like, okay, he's working. He's working because now, when people talk about God or when people reference it, it hits deeper. It makes sense now. It makes a little bit more sense. And it's really hard to explain, but yeah. So like when you said, come on this, I was like, this is perfect. I was like,
Wow.
because I'm having this realization that he's working, even though sometimes I don't understand, I don't understand his why, but he's definitely working.
You know
That's
what?
so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing about rock bottom moments are? Is they help you recognize your need for God.
Absolutely.
And I, is it okay if I share a scripture with you?
Go ahead.
You know, I just think of the scripture in Romans.
So encouraged.
I know it's so. It's,
Sorry.
No, well, also before you read
no,
that, though,
go.
So I want to say when I was in China, so yeah, about 6-7 months, I got added to this random channel on Instagram, and it was a prayer channel. And so every day they send these prayers. And so initially I was reading them. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, like this is a great one.
Go sis,
But then it was like,
go sis, go, go sis, go sis, go, go sis, go sis, go sis, go sis, go.
really good prayers. And like, I'm actually reading them as a prayer and not just as a paragraph on a screen. And then I started slowly, like I would post the ones that really hit home. I would post them on my story. And then I would start sending them to people, right? I would start sending them to people. And whenever, if a prayer, if I thought about somebody when I was, reading the prayer, I would send it to that person. I'm like, hey, I think you should read this. And then for like a while, I stopped doing it. Not on purpose, things just got crazy. And someone actually messaged me. It was like, I really look forward to every day I see your story and there's a prayer on there. He was like, when are you going to do that again? And I was just like, it's like interesting. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're already
It's like
making
perfect
impact.
timing. Seriously, it really is.
No, it's so amazing. I thought of the scripture in Romans 8:28, how it talks about like God is always working for the good of those who love the Lord, who've been called according to his purpose. But then I thought of a scripture in Acts that I want to share with you in Acts 17.
That's what I wanted to do.
And really?
That's the scripture I wanted to go to. Yeah.
It's the Spirit. And in verse 26, from one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us. So here it talks about from Adam, he determine the times and places where we inhabit the earth. Like the fact that you were born when and where you were born, and that you went here, 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 and here, and now are here is no coincidence. Yeah. But it says here that he did this for one reason. And I always think it's so common. Everyone says this, everything happens for a reason. But for God, there's one reason. There's only one reason why he does this. It says so they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him. So he gives us the opportunity, but I think the word perhaps is here because it's like, will we actually, he's there, but will we reach out? Will we pursue him? And so I just think that when you're like, it's so crazy, perfect time in the prayer group, and then Shan asked me to, this is God.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, because I have always believed in him, but I would be like, oh yeah, like God is amazing, or yeah, everything happens for a reason. It was just kind of a thing that I just said, right? It was just like,
Totally.
oh yeah, God is great. Like, cool. Like, yeah, everything happens because of him. But like now, it's like, I really feel it. It's like genuine. I'm not just saying it anymore. It's like, it's real. And I can't really explain it. It's just like a feeling of like actual faith and trust, right? It's crazy. I don't know. Like, cause I've gone through, I have showed up to Bible studies. I have gone to church just because.
Yeah.
Just because. I'm like, sure, my friend wants me to go, sure. But it was then I was just there, right? I was just there. I was just listening to people talk. It didn't hit home. It wasn't doing anything for me. But now it's doing something for me. And
Wow.
I'm still kind of in the early stages of it. I'm not very vocal about it.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I was talking to one of my guy friends the other day and I was pretty vocal about it. And he was just like, wow, that's amazing. But so baby steps.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
I love what you said about timing, and it's kind of like, God's like, okay, I'm gonna put you here, you here. Oh, you missed me there. That is okay. I'm gonna put you here, you here. Oh, you missed me again. That's okay. I'm gonna put you here, you here. And it's like he is consistently pursuing and courting us because he loves us so much, and we have the choice to allow circumstances, even difficult circumstances, to either point us to him or point us away from him. And it goes with what you were talking about, either forget everything and run. Am I going to forget God in this situation and run to my own devices, my own capabilities, my own coping mechanisms, whatever? Or am I going to face this situation head on with him and figure out how we can rise together? And so I love that you're starting to see the fact that he's pursuing you. And it's really beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it gives me peace.
Yeah. Wow.
And I notice like anytime that because I watched Travis Green on YouTube. And every time I'm locked in. Like I may be getting ready, but I'm locked in. I'm listening and don't bother me. I have an hour. Like, listen, when the hour's over, then we can. But yeah, really, it was a reflecting moment when I decided to bring my journal out because I don't really journal. I write, but I don't journal. And the fact that I wanted to journal whatever message it was that day. And honestly, some weeks I miss it, and then I go back and it's like, this was for me. This was like. This is everything going on right now. This is for me and how I need to think about life.
Yeah.
So it's been crazy.
I think of it
beautiful.
We started this conversation talking about Joseph and how like it could have gone this way and meant for bad, but it ended up being for good, the saving of many lives. And I think your writing and your voice and the things that you're sharing are so powerful, and God is going to use what you've been through and how you're pursuing him right now in such a powerful way to impact others. And so it's inspiring. It's inspiring. But I think back to when that gospel song is really hit your heart. And I think it's ironic that you were visiting a prison. And I think this is how God is. Like he's so redemptive in this way because, when it comes to prisons, I know you volunteer with Between the Lines.
I do.
And give back
to
youth in that way specifically. And I don't know how much you want to share, but why is it important to you specifically to give back through a prison ministry?
Well, my biological dad. So when I was in my freshman year of college, he got arrested. And it was like this really big thing. He got arrested for a cold case. And I got dragged through it. Even though I was some odd, 1,000 miles away, I got dragged through it just because my last name, and they found me on social media, and it was just this big old thing. Yeah. But that was a point in my life where I decided to forgive. That was the first time that I showed any forgiveness in my heart.
Wow.
And it didn't happen overnight. He would call me. I would not answer his phone calls. Then it slowly became like, hey, I'll answer. I'll give you a hello. And that was it. The conversation was very, you can tell I did not want to be in that situation. Yeah. Then it eventually became like, hey, let me just go ahead and tell him about my day. It's not going to hurt anybody. And so throughout that process, it was a very short-lived process because then he ended up dying in prison with cancer. But the moment, I was able to visit him, literally I visited him and like 3 days later he passed away.
Oh,
and so it was that moment where I realized that like forgiveness is everything. And I made sure to tell him multiple times, like, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And not only is it something that I did for myself, but also for him, right? Because he was making an effort to, now that he was clean, and clear-minded, he was making an effort to show me, hey, I'm really sorry. And so I appreciated that, and I told him that. So with that, it was like, I have been on the other side of having a father in prison, of having that disconnect, of seeing everyone around him just completely say, screw you, we're not talking to you anymore. He had nobody. And like, as the caring person I am, although I had so much hate in my heart, I couldn't let him be in there by himself, right? And so just that whole process of going through that with him, when I was presented the opportunity to give back and go into these prisons, men's prisons at that, and provide a different, point of view and perspective, and then speaking to them about certain things, and then having them come up to me and say, oh my gosh, you changed my life, or, now I'm thinking about this a certain way, or now I'm not going to give up. I've had so many incarcerated men tell me I'm not giving up now because, I heard you speak, or I heard you give your story.
Wow.
And to me, that hits a little different, right? Because sometimes I'm like, what can I do for you guys? I can only do so much, but sometimes you don't realize the power your words have over people. And so I really enjoy it. I do it every chance I get, and obvious, and I also get to bring basketball into it. I also get to share the game that saved me, right? Because I tell people all the time is, when I was going through that stuff as a kid, I was in the streets. I was hanging around people that I shouldn't have been hanging around with, and all it could have taken was one time, wrong place. Right place, wrong time, and I could have been in that situation. And I don't think people realize is that everyone's one mistake away from being where they're at.
Yeah.
And I try to, give that to them. I voice that to them, because when I go in there, I tell them this. When I go in here, I don't care what you did. I don't care why you got here. I said, but I'm taking you at face value. What you present to me today, that's all that matters. So if you're presenting to me today as a changed man, as God-fearing, as you're trying to do better in the situation that you're in, that's all I care about. And so I always tell them, like, hey, I'm never going to ask you what you did. I'm never going to ask you anything like that, because honestly, I don't care. I care about what person you're bringing me today and how you're presenting yourself. So I enjoy it. I love it. It can get heavy sometimes because you do realize that they're humans at the end of the day who just didn't have the guidance or didn't have the mentorship or somebody telling them, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
And because they didn't have that, they had to go through life, make the mistakes, and now they're in here. And what I would say is that a lot of these men and women in there have way more time to self-reflect than we do out here. And then in turn, it produces some amazing human beings when they get out. And they're doing the Lord's work when they come out, right? And so I always say, just give them a chance. If they're showing that they want to get better, if they acknowledge their mistakes and they're trying to do good in the world, give them a chance.
Wow.
I love that.
That's so good.
Destiny. Oh, man, resilience, rock bottom moments, such a powerful testimony. And we end every show with what we call a go moment, which is just one bit of advice that people can go and just like remember something about life, remember how they can move forward differently. Not to put you on the spot, but you've been on the spot for now about an hour.
Yeah.
If you had just one
Yay.
go moment, one piece of advice for someone, maybe a
good one.
younger you, a girl out there who's a woman out there, a person out there who's watching and can relate to your story, maybe who also wants to give up, maybe who's dealing with their own mental health journey or their own rock bottom moment.
Yeah. Honestly, I say this very often, but it's okay to not be okay. And I think people don't really realize that. I think, in this world of where social media and everything has changed perspective, and you're always comparing your life to someone else. But what people don't realize is that you can compare yourself. Hey, I'm 26, she's 26, but the life that we live to get to this point is completely different. And it's okay to not be okay. So when you're able to do that, I think any obstacle that God throws at you, you're gonna be able to hurdle over it.
Hurdle it.
That's
I
like,
love
come
it.
on.
Destiny Littleton, thanks for coming on Go Sis.
You're
so much.
amazing. Thank you.
We love you guys. Don't forget,
Bye.
go to GoSisPodcast.com. We love you. And Go Sis.
Go sis, go sis, go, go sis, go sis, go, go sis, go sis, go, go sis, go sis, go. That my sis right there, that my beautiful.